Coach Adam Fossett Show brought to you by Marble City Pharmacy in Sylacauga. The final Coach Adam Fossett Show of the 24 season, and man, it ended on a great note with that was a stem winder, especially at the end of last week's game. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, it was down to the wire, and it was I think it kind of embodies the growth that we've had throughout the season because. The game goes back and forth, and then at the end we had a chance to just kind of lay down and let them take it. But step up, make some big plays, and Ray obviously making big plays with his arm, and then a young guy, De'Arian Riley, a sophomore, making a huge catch for us, and really growing into the athlete that we knew he could be all season, and taking it to the house to take the lead.
He dropped a few balls, but when he went up and got that deep throw and he turned on the afterburners, it was over there.
Yeah, it was, and you saw earlier in the game what he could do on the screen. He caught it and took it down the field as well. So just an unbelievable athlete, and that's what's coming up. We've got a big group of sophomores coming up, and he's going to be the one that leads the way in that group. He's kind of the alpha in that group and stands out, and it's going to be up to guys like him to make sure that we continue to improve and continue to get better, especially off season. I think off season is very key, and I think these young guys kind of see now, hey, we got to get after it a little bit more, and we got to be locked in a little bit more and get ready.
A win over Thorsby last Friday night, the final game of the season, and your quarterback Sims. I don't know how many accolades he can be given, but it's not enough. 1,000 yards rushing this season, and over 1,000 yards passing as well.
Yep. Yeah, he was over 1,000 on both, and just did a phenomenal job for us, and fought through a lot of adversity in doing that. So. We put him in a tough spot and asked a lot of him, and week in and week out he answered the call to the best of his ability. So, I felt like, and I think we've had this discussion before, I felt like last year he was snubbed from All-State honors, and I think that this year he's deserving of it and worthy of it, and I'll do everything I can nomination-wise and reaching out to other coaches to ask for him to be nominated by them as well, because it is a deserving honor for him. So he hasn't missed a beat. I was telling you before we went on air, he had a chance to kind of get a little break before basketball, but he's been hitting practice every day and showing up every day. So. He's jumped right into basketball and moving on. So speaks volumes about the athlete that he is, and he's going to have the opportunity to move on and play elsewhere. Right now, he's a verbal commit to North Alabama, and that's the times that he went through this year. I think are going to make him more resilient and tougher for the tough times that are going to be headed his way at the collegiate level, and he'll be able to handle those better.
Several other seniors closed out their career at BB Comer with outstanding games as well Friday.
Yeah, I thought Datron Wills played really well, and he's kind of had an up and down season because of some injuries, and played really well for us. He's last year and this year he does a lot of work that doesn't get stats, but he also does a lot of work that has to be done. So he does some grunt work, especially defensively when. On the edge, when they're running towards him, his job is to clog all that up. His job isn't to make tackles. He's got to spill it so our outside guys can tackle. So he's got a pretty dirty job there, but he's able to do it. Tristan Garrett finished out strong for us and did a good job just running the ball for us, and
Had some pretty good runs in the game.
He did. Had some good runs. He's a very powerful runner, and being a little bit shorter, he's low to the ground, low center of gravity, and he's tough to tackle. So did a good job for us. Michael Kirksey's done a good job up and down the field for us, and mainly defensively, some offensively. Seth Pettit, we asked Seth to kind of switch roles this year and help us punt, and did a good job of that. He I don't know what he was thinking on the punt last week. I told him, look, next time catch it, and try and get it off. But he took that thing and was running as hard and fast as he could. So, but when he was running towards our sidelines, all I could see was his eyes, because he was about to get tackled, and he didn't want to get tackled. So. But yeah, those guys, I hope those guys all leave a great legacy for us, and those guys have represented us well, and you want them to be successful and move on. And I explained to them, like, life is coming in just a few months. So and as always, we try to help those guys out any way we can, whether it be job or college,
yeah,
or whatever the case may be. So. Want to make sure that they're prepared for the future, and we also want them to finish out this last part of their senior year and really enjoy the aspects of being a senior.
What was your message, Coach, to the team after the final game of the season?
We thanked the seniors and again talked about kind of them moving forward and staying the course, and then just talked to the young guys about putting in work and getting ready to go. And it's beyond, it's beyond football. It's beyond other sports that they play. It's just life in general, where we've got to be more resilient. We got to be tougher. We got to be more coachable. Got to be able to retain things. It's always comical to me, and as the older I get in my career, the I guess less filtered I am. But it's comical, and for me, during a game, coach, do this, coach, do that, coach, you're dumb, coach, all this other stuff. And I'm thinking, the problem is we can't retain anything. Yeah. So we have to keep repeating ourselves over the same stuff. We can't move on to other things. So retention is tough. We've really got to start understanding football. We got to play less video game football and watch some more like real football and watch it for its worth. And if I'm a center, then I need to watch how that center works, and I need to see the things that he does. Or if I'm a guard or whatever position, it doesn't matter. That's what you have to watch.
You must admit, this has been a challenging year for the B.B. Comer football program and you personally.
Yeah, it has been. It's been challenging. It's been tough. And, I knew that things were going to be a little different. Things were going to be tougher. The honest truth is, every year I kind of, gauge and think, hey, I think we could be within this range. And this year, I thought we could be anywhere from, 6-4 to 5-5, with a chance at possibly being in the playoffs. And that's the playoff. The playoff aspect of it probably hurts the worst, because you're on a 5-year streak of making the playoffs, which hasn't been. You look at all the history that's been kind of made or rewrote over the past couple of years. 5 straight years is rare. 6 straight years would have been even rarer. So. But we didn't capitalize on some games that we should have. You go back and look at games, I feel like we should have finished. We didn't finish in the Vincent game, and that's a game that we should have won.
A lot of people think, well, that was kind of a turning point there for B.B. Comer, because a game that you really should have won.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then we left the Beulah game out there, and that's one that we should have won. So. We haven't not shown up for a game like we did Dadeville since we went to Sachs years ago, and we've talked about it a couple times where we never got off the bus. And that game, it was just a weird feeling all night, where it just, I don't know, there was not much pulse in the guys that night. So, but yeah, the ups and downs of it, and it's been tough, but you kind of have to keep on pushing on, and you keep on getting after it. And would have been easy to just hang it up and say, hey, you know.
How did moving from 2A to 3A play into this season?
It's a massive difference. I don't think people really understand the difference as far as depth and things go. And you know, you get two AISA schools that come in, and their enrollment rules are a lot different. And you look at both schools where had plenty of kids. Mm-hmm. You know, Glenwood has like 50-something kids that they can choose from, and they're able to rotate guys in and out. So at the end of it, the depth is a factor. So we have very little depth, and these other teams have a ton of depth. Well, they can take a backup and put him in against one of our starters that's been playing the whole game, and our starter, fresh, may be a better athlete, but he's also been playing for 28 minutes. This kid comes in fresh.
Both sides of the ball.
Yeah, both sides of the ball. This kid comes in fresh and plays 4 or 6 snaps. It makes a big difference. So, and I wish I could tell everybody that the depth issues are going to be better next year, but it's not. Like there's still not a lot of guys to choose from in these classes. So, you take those guys and you work them, and you try to get every other person that you can, and you get them talked into getting other guys to come out. But at the end of the day, we don't have a lot of males in those classes. So we don't have a lot of males to pull from. Like most of the guys are playing football. And then you hope after next year that the count is a little bit better for you, and you go back to 2A. We're really a 2A school, and that's where we need to sit, and that's where we need to be. I think we're the 3rd or 4th smallest 3A in the state. So we're right there on that threshold again, and it's like we were, 4 or 5 years ago when we were 3A and made the playoffs and went to Fultondale my second year.
Yeah.
Same deal. We're battling a numbers game, and we don't have all the numbers.
Yeah, and BB Comer is not unlike other schools. There's cycles of great athletes, and then not as good athletes, and then the list goes on. And BB Comer has gone through that cycle. They've had great athletes, went deep in the playoffs several years, and now then it's kind of a rebuilding mode.
Yeah, it is. It's over the past 2 seasons we've lost a ton of really good athletes. You look at last year's senior class. You have 3 of them playing college football. Yeah. You had 5 kids that were all state kids. So when you lose that caliber, it takes some time to kind of get everything back, back in the order that it needed to be in. So we lost all those kids and moved up to 3A all in the same year. So if we were 2A, if you stay 2A, I think you're a competitive 2A. I think you're a playoff team.
Sure.
You're probably not going to make as deep a run as you have in the past couple of years, but I think you're 1 or 2 rounds, depending on the bracket, you may slip up and get to a 3rd round game. But at the end of it just isn't how it worked out. So I try not to play the what if game too much, because I want our guys to be realistic, and I'm realistic with them, and but the big message now is off season. The big message now is the weight room and getting better in things, and which is there was a couple sophomores the other day that coach, can we lift? Yeah, you can lift after school, and went in there with them, and they were doing a couple lifts, and we fixed a few things and fixed a few form things, and all of a sudden it was a lot easier for them to do. So you can tell the light's coming on for some of them. And hopefully they can kind of spread that through the other ones.
So from now until August of next year is going to be the key, right?
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. And during all this too, we've got to find a way to make sure that we're doing that. And we have kids that play multiple sports. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to be a football guy. As athletic director, man, I want to support all the other sports as well, and I want to make sure that they're doing well in those sports too. So we have to be very careful about our scheduling and how we do it. And like your basketball guys, hey, you want them to be able to go out and play well and have their legs under them and stuff like that. So so we have to be very, there's in phase and out of phase workouts that we do, and those guys that don't play another sport, they'll be doing something completely different than what these basketball guys are doing. So, and same with baseball coming up in the spring, we got to be careful with those guys as far as shoulders and arms and stuff like that. So it makes it a little bit tougher. Coach Fuqua handles our workout stuff, and he'll have everything lined out as far as who does what and when, and we'll have a calendar. And in January, we'll start getting the sixth graders over, and we'll start introducing the weight room to them after school. We'll have after school workouts with them, and just start introducing lifts and how to lift and safety and stuff like that, and start kind of getting our eyes on them, see what kind of feet they have, and stuff like that.
So basketball season now.
Yep.
And a lot of these same kids that played football playing basketball, and that transition from football to basketball can take a little while too.
Yeah, it definitely can. And our varsity guys don't play for a while, so they'll have plenty of time to kind of get in basketball mode. Our junior high team, they've already played 2 games. They play again. Yeah, they play again today at Vincent. So junior high is rocking and rolling, and they're getting after it pretty quick. So. My youngest is on the junior high team, so we've been going to games, and there hasn't been much rest since last week. But it's fun to sit up there and be able to be dad for a little bit and just sit back and watch our guys play.
All right, Coach. Thanks for being with us this season. Happy holidays to you and your family, and it's always a pleasure to have you with us throughout the high school football season. And wish you the very best.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Coach Adam Fossett, the head football coach and athletic director at BB Comer, our guest this morning. More Daybreak after you watch this.